party people? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. As you know, I am here on WINJECT TV. So I am so happy that you're here. So today we're going to do things a little bit differently because I want to introduce you to that amazing team of guys that are on WINJECT and that have helped me relaunch, rebrand, and put a whole new spin on my show and has increased my numbers by 300%. That is like huge, especially because I was a podcaster who was trying to go out there and reach as many lives as I can and impact as many people as I can. And I was struggling to kind of make that happen. But I found Chris Ross from WINJECT, and he really helped the sister out. And he looked at everything, and he was so good at this. And he looked at how I was branding myself, what I was putting out there, you know, how my colors were, all that kind of stuff, and really started to redefine who I was and what my show was and how I wanted this to move forward. I freaking love WINJECT. I've been with them since the beginning. I ain't going nowhere, people. But anyway, podcasting, as you know, is like the new radio, right? And so live streaming, like what I'm doing with you right now, is the new TV. I mean, I barely watch TV. I'm always on YouTube and streaming everything. So there you go, right? So WINJECT right now is on a mission, people, and they are on a mission to grow your show, whether it's an existing show or you have a new show idea, and it's going to empower you by calling everyone, all these content creators together to fulfill that dream that you have, right? So I am super stoked to have the CEO on here. The COO is coming on soon, and I cannot wait to get them to actually give you clarity on what it is WINJECT is doing and how to WINJECT your show. So, Chris, if you have a moment and you can pop on up here, come on up, Chris Ross. Can you come?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah,
I was trying to push the button. I was like, what am I doing? I didn't want to mess it up. What's up? How you doing? You all right?
What's up, Chris? This is Chris Ross. He is the CEO of WINJECT. And, you know, as you know, Chris, I mean, me and you have been friends now for over a year and change. And I truly love, you know, everything that you have done since the beginning. So in the beginning, WINJECT was one thing, and now it's expanded to more than one thing. It's like it's exploding, right? So what I wanted to do is kind of have you on here, and I know Greg will be coming on soon.
Yeah, shortly. He's trying to move some things around to make this happen for you.
Yeah,
so, but I appreciate you obviously taking the time and inviting us on to have a discussion, because it can be difficult. I mean, because you guys are excited. You're inside of what we built here, and there's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of people aren't going to get it. I'm like, why should I don't want to come? Why should I join? I'm like, what? It's okay. You don't understand what I'm doing here. It's like you have to submit an application for us to take you on, and we kind of underestimated the value proposition for this, and obviously the need and the want and demand. Because you look at 90% of, I guess you would coin them, podcasters, live streamers, or TV shows, or whatever that might be, music producers, doesn't really matter. We've literally created all-in-one educational approach, because we present shows the way that it should be presented to the marketplace and to your audiences, plug you into our distribution channels. There's 300 PR agencies that are obviously pushing the media out, your podcasting, getting you in front of the right people for you to be seen, be heard, be talked about. Then you have obviously moving from podcasting, and then we empower you and helping you build a massive community within our community that obviously runs all the moving parts. Then you have exclusive access to early shows. You have podcasters that maybe potentially, I would coin it podcasters, that have 500 shows, and they have these 500 shows. Well, all that content, what are you doing with that content?
Right.
See what I'm saying? You could have it inside of your community, and then obviously being able to get it out and distribute it, and have maybe running it into a course. This is my zone of genius. Course creation. I've done this for billion-dollar companies and trillion-dollar industries. I'm just doing the same thing for media, and it's going to blow everything out the water of what some of these agencies are doing, or lack thereof, in my opinion. And there's so many, we can only onboard 3 a day. Do you know what I mean? So we're looking for the right shows. Like, why should we select your show to be a part of WINJECT Studios' original show? And we're not trying to change you. We're not trying to do anything. We're just trying to polish you up. polish you up, clean you, get it out there and just get the right eyeballs on you. So if you are a purpose-driven individual and you feel like you are not getting the recognition or the numbers that you deserve, then you got to get on board.
Right.
And we're just changing the game, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask you about that because you touched on a bunch of things there. So, so what you're saying is in order to be part of that WINJECT family, when it comes to you selecting shows, you have to apply. It's not like you just go on there and you're automatically a show, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This has changed a lot in the last year. Because I mean, as you know, I mean, you were a part of the beta phase of this. Where at beta is over with. We're ready to rock. So I've tested the, obviously, the systems and making sure that we had everything, the infrastructure of this built. It inside the system looks like Facebook had a baby with Discord. You know what I mean? It's insane. It's insane the type of capability. You can go live inside of your own exclusive community inside of WINJECT, and it only broadcasts there. There's a way for you to do CTAs and pop-ups and all webinars or whatever you wanted to do. This is massive. But when you're looking at it more in a bird's eye view, when you apply to have us WINJECT your show or WINJECT your idea, most people, you're also inspiring your audience that they can do it too. Right. It is possible. Just think about this. I mean, you have people out there, they call it the graveyard of podcasting. I have some really astounding individuals with me on board with this. We have Greg, obviously the chief operating officer. He's got years and years of experience in multi-billion-dollar companies. Obviously helping me, looking at the infrastructure, make sure the messaging is there because not everyone's going to understand my craziness, right? Then you have Russ Johns, 35 years of experience. He's our community leader with running the producing side and making sure we have the producers there to really help you out to understand how to really make your show a success. I mean, even someone asked me a question the other day. How did you get these people the downloads? I'm like, downloads isn't, excuse my language, isn't shit. I can care I can care less about downloads. That's just an indication I have your attention. Right. How to turn that into raving fans, that's my job. Right. That's what we're here to do. Right.
And that's a challenge, though, be honest with you, Chris. It's a huge challenge as a podcaster. I do get like a lot of DMs and stuff in the back of the house, but I want to build a community too. Like I want to be able to engage with people. And that's what I think WINJECT is definitely doing for me. And now that we have like a way for our community to actually go in and be a part of that community where we give them like the courses and like one, like a group Zoom calls and like all this phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, so much fun.
Like there's just so much stuff going on. So what about if somebody who all right, so let's go two ways. What if someone who has already has an established podcast and has large numbers already? How do they see the benefit in being part of WINJECT?
Is looking at the archives of what they have already done before and how can they improve. I'm always going to look at life in a different way. In my perspective of this is like I need to improve each day. Well, how can I do it with less time, and in that way I don't have to do it with a massive staff. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can I make more of an impact, and what can I improve today that is going to make the longevity of my show really matter? Because you got people right now that are podcasting, and I think of podcasting as this. It's more of an audio thing. Okay. Then you have goes into live streaming. That's the next step. That's where we can test the market out and test the audience to see if you're really captivating enough to hold people's attention more than 7 seconds, right? So testing that out and seeing how we can not rebrand you, but clean you up and clean up your custom, make your approach, and then start moving on to a TV show. Then you have your own TV show, and then a TV show, what happens there? Then you have all these distribution channels. You have all the back end of this where you can really turn yourself to a broadcasting media powerhouse. Maybe you're looking at the Netflix deal. You want to get on CBS. So there's a lot of connections we have here. If I don't even want to start dropping names, but so when you're looking at this actually a little bit more, say, if I have 800 episodes and you're only still a podcaster, that's a good indication you need to level up. And I say that with the open heart. And I say that with, just being most compassionate I can. But if you don't want a TV show, you don't have to do it. It's just the main thing is how can I improve what I already have available? And do I have enough archive? Like perfect example, I have 130 something episodes of the Win-Win Effect. I didn't expect that everyone would listen to my show, and it's 5.9 views just on Apple. We have our own Apple channel. The Apple channel is going to empower you and get you more reach. Because when they start running their own ads, their own whatever, you're now being seen, being heard, being talked about, because you're now a part of a massive community that isn't trying to rape you. And I'm using that word, and I probably should use a different one, but it's more of like obviously taking away from what you've already have and then trying to monetize off you. That's not the way we operate. When you win, we win. We just want to win. We just want to impact more lives.
Right.
Like, that's all we want to do here. We got Greg popped on. I don't know if you want to pop him on.
Yeah.
I saw he's on here.
Pop him on. Yes.
Okay. So far. In the backstage room listening. So a lot of great points.
Yeah, I was just get a little long-winded, but I'll make sure you're obviously. I appreciate you moving things around to obviously be here. And just for everyone to know, Greg is obviously the chief operating officer, and he actually brought Mark Jenkins when he came on board.
Amazing.
And obviously Coach Lee Starks, which his show's coming soon, Mind Body Resilience. A lot of connection, a lot of synergetic energy, and he's really helping. I guess you would say take a lot off my plate, because I felt like I was chasing my tail and didn't really anticipate people how many shows that really wanted for us to do it, right? And we can only onboard 3 a day, so I really needed a key player around me. So just obviously not in a place where we can do video right now, but Greg, just want to say hello.
Yeah, no, thanks. And I was sitting listening, and I think you made some great points, right? Like, one, podcasting is evolving, right? And a lot of people are stuck where they were and don't have the knowledge, right, or the capacity to understand how to get to the next level, right? And that's exactly what you've set out to do, is create an environment where people can show up and say, I have a great story that I want to tell the world, but I need help getting it out there, right? And so by having the platform, having the community, having the ability to look at people's social media presence, all of those great things come together in one place, rather than doing an a la carte kind of shopping for this here, that there. You come to a one-stop shop, you show up with a microphone and a camera, and you tell the world your story. And for people who are interested, they're gonna find you. We're gonna help them find you, and you're gonna be able to share your life, your experience, and all of those great insights, right, with the rest of the world. It's a simple formula. I think you've made it very simple with the platform and the approach. Not everybody can do it, and for those that can, great. Kudos to them. For the people that can't, you have the way of showing them how to get there. I try to simplify everything down to the bare minimum, and that's the way I see it.
Right. And I really liked what you said towards the back end. I was like, if you can do it, good for you. Can you improve? I mean, you have to ask yourself some really deep thought, actually understanding, and it's really sit down and cultivation of silence, cultivation of self-discovery, and really figure out, okay, what do I really want to do? Am my message really being heard by the right people?
Right. And
if you ask yourself that question and you feel like you can do more or give more, or you should, or you need help, listen, podcasting, media, I mean, it doesn't really matter, live streaming, TV, whatever, personalities, they can always, if you can clean up your approach and obviously get you to where you can make more of a level of impact and you get more excited and living in bliss, then that's what you should do. And if you don't want to, and then that's not meant for you, then that's fine. But I want to at least remove the blockage for you to really make an impact. Because if not everybody sees the world the way that you see the world, and not everybody sees the world the way that I see the world. And that's where all of our selection team, executive selection team that we have on board with WINJECT Studios, we really take a deep dive and look at the areas of opportunity, because I'm looking at it in a business view, not in a how do we take you to the market. I'm thinking about how we can help you monetize first before we even decide to take on a show. Because you got Mark Jenkins, perfect example. Has an amazing story. Amazing story. Everyone's got a story, but he hasn't even told the story yet. because he's been too busy keeping P. Diddy on tour and Beyonce on tour and all these guys on tour. You know what I mean? Keeping them fit. No one's ever heard his story. Well, and that's what we're doing here is we're equipping, we're empowering him with a network, empowering him with a community that's going to allow him tap into another version of himself that he never thought was possible. And that's the collective impact that I'm talking about, is providing a space for people to really flourish and grow and go, oh my God, it is possible. I can do this. That's what happened for me. This is how the longevity of an opportunity and people's shows die, or if they're starting with podcasting, if you want to coin it, they die in 8 weeks, 10 weeks, first season, because they don't see obviously it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to put into something to make it grow. And if you're not seeing enough people being, raving from it, then what's the point? Yeah. It's kind of like being in a relationship. If I want to put all the time and effort into a relationship and I feel like I'm not being fulfilled in that relationship, then I got to move on, boo-boo. You know what I mean? So it's, you know what I mean? I'm making jokes for this, but I always try to make analogies with, relationships and also fitness, because it sticks with people and it makes it more real. Yeah. And I think that, Greg, I'm going to go back to this where, us selecting on a show, and I think that's where a lot of people are going to probably have a lot of questions on what would actually be acceptable. Yeah. Why should we want to come on board, or whatever that might be? What we look for is people that can actually empower our community. Okay. And the reason why I say empower our community, because with your help, we are going to get more empowered. So we're empowering you, you're empowering us. We're not going to want your content. That's your content to use. This is just your system. I just have the Lamborghini sitting here for you to drive it. Okay. Right. So are you really getting broadcasted to the right people? Do you have the distribution channels? I have these. We have I've just signed obviously with Podbox and obviously Streamline Podcast. They're strategic partners within WINJECT Studios. Carl Sana, a little shout out to him. We actually have it in the system where you don't have to do anything else. You literally have a microphone and you breathe into it. We do everything else. We do everything. It's all in one. Just breathe into. You just got a microphone, just breathing into it. I think that would be a show. We'll help you, but I hope that helps.
Greg, did you have anything to add to that?
So I'm gonna, because of the way my mind works slightly differently than Chris's, right? I think is obvious, right? But what I was gonna say is, as I said earlier, totally agree, right? If you can do it yourself better than we can, great. If not, we're absolutely available to help. What I was going to say to Chris is, we talked about selection and approach, right? I know we only have, about a half an hour and we're 19 minutes in. Do you want to go through and talk a little bit about what goes on after people submit their show, right?
I was going to ask that.
Yeah. But yeah, really, how do you go about it? Where's your mind? And then I can chime in and we can go from there.
This is a great question. And sometimes this is why you're around me, because I can just easily move, right? Because going 120 miles an hour, but what actually happens in a selection process? Say, for instance, you submit an application for us to take a look at your show. And that's your opportunity to share as much information with us, because I really take a deep dive into this. Within 1 to 3 days, I do give you access to WINJECT. So if you're trying to launch a show, sign up for the creator one, and it's like 3 free days. It's really cheap. It's like $1 a day or something, just to be involved with the community. And during the application process, we really take a deep dive and look. And then one of our team members will book a call with you, a pre-approval process, and then we'll jump on a call. And we'll present you with what I see, what the potential is, and then obviously take a deep dive into their story. And is their story even being seen, being heard, being talked about? Because here's what WINJECT is. If I didn't have this during the time in my life of what I've obviously had going through in my personal life, then I don't know what would have happened. I needed something, because it's changed my life. Podcasting has changed my life. It's given me a platform and an opportunity where I used to write speeches for event speakers. And I'm like, I could do this myself. So you see my point? So WINJECT, when I'm back into this, when I'm looking at this, I've been doing this my whole life. I'm just going to do it for you now. So us taking a look into this, I'm going to really start asking questions. So when you stop doing what the world is telling you to be, and you start doing what God, Allah, whatever your spirit being in your source energy is going to do, you're now going to actualize fully. So that's my gift, is being able to see things in people and see things deep all the way inside of them that potentially they don't see, and yanking that as part out of them. And that's why I take a real different approach when it comes to selecting a show, because I put my heart and soul into selecting the right ones, because I've never had that. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm looking at a show, I look at their social media, I look at their presence, I look at their engagement or lack thereof, I look at their infrastructure of their business. What does their messaging say? You know, I mean, because the one thing I learned about staff, if you don't cultivate a really strong army with the same core values around you, that one heartbeat, one mission, one outcome, then they got a job. And they're not going to care about your business as much as you. Do you see my point?
Yeah.
And I lived that life. There's a lot of people around me that they no longer around me just because of I've leveled up. And I want to help WINJECT your show isn't just about shows. It's about you. Like, allow me to give you or empower you with a platform and put you in a position where we select your show, and then I start deploying my staff. They'll look at they'll clean up your social media approach. They'll clean up on how it's distributed, even some of your copy. They look at some of the edits on the video. You have to pass the visual test. If you don't pass the visual test, they're not going to look past that 7 seconds. And that's basically what we do here. So there's, I mean, even in the production side of it, I mean, you look at some of the shows around you. I mean, you look at some of your older shows. No offense to your show. Look at some of your older shows, and look at some of your shows now.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right?
I mean, that's why I got so much engagement now, and my numbers keep climbing because of that. Because you cleaned it up. Yeah. I'm sorry,
it's
Greg.
like looking at it's like looking at old pictures from high school, right? And say, why did I have that haircut back then?
Right.
Because you didn't,
I have my hair.
know any better.
Oh, my hair. I was like, oh, my hair.
Exactly. Yeah. All of the hair that you theoretically had, right? But you didn't know any better back then, right?
No.
So you went with what everybody else did, or you went with what was comfortable. And now it's like, okay, here's the opportunity for you to get a better haircut for 2020, right? And, you know, listen, it is what it is, right? And as you said, you look at where you've been, you look at your history, you look at how successful you were, and at that point in time, maybe you were really successful. But the reality is times change, right? And so we need to be able to keep up with it. And again, the platform, the mobility, the approach is about keeping up in this day and age with the market and new ways of approaching that market.
Right.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you guys are selecting, because that means it's not just come one, come all, everybody is going to be on here. That means you're intentional, right? That means you're going to really be intentional about what show you're going to WINJECT, right? Because that's the whole point. So I love that. I love that approach. I love that whole view of it. So once the person applies, just so that I can answer some of the questions. So once the person applies, then you're going to really look at everything. Just to reiterate what you said, you're going to look at everything, the social media, their messaging, what they are, and then you and the team will decide what shows you're going to take on. Is that right?
Yes, there's 3 people that need to sign off on every show. Myself, Greg, and Russ. Okay. So we sign off on each show on what we think, pros and cons of the level of impact. We look at more level of impact rather than looking at the individual or the show. So what is a level of impact in our community, and then actually outside of our communities? Okay. How can they allow us to take it to the next level and take them to the next level? Obviously, the same way. So assigning on. So they'll usually get an email within around like 1 to 3 days saying, hey, this is a pre-approval. Here's a spot for you to book in for a call. Obviously, we've had some unique opportunity with this Apple project that we have right now, our own Apple channel. We got the community texting app, which is strategic partners of WINJECT Studios. I got a long-lasting relationship with them. They're agreed to do some videos for us and different side of this. It's going to be amazing. So shout out to Alex on that. I appreciate you. We'll speak to her later. But the main thing, what I'm saying is when they sign up, then from there, obviously during that time, we can make sure that we all 3 sign off on this. You speak to myself, you'll speak to Russ, you'll speak to Greg, you'll speak to one of my members of our staff. They're not salespeople. We're here to, just not only say you sell us on your pitch as a show. It's you just kind of like saying, listen, here's what I need help with. Here's what I see. And I guarantee you, the people that I do have conversations with, the conversations are like, whoa, I didn't expect to get that type of level of understanding of looking at it. We really take a deep dive into the individual, their story, whatever that might be. Then from there, the costs vary. I mean, because every person's different. We custom make every order. But I will tell you this, we're not preying off the weak.
Right.
And what I'm saying I speak that with so much passion, because this is my level of impact and my understanding of me being exposed to some really astounding individuals. These guys, it doesn't take $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever to run a show. Okay. Because I've done it with the win-win effect, and I didn't have, that's what typically happened. Like on the back end of this, when I launched my show and that deal went through and I was, 2 million downloads within the first, 2 seasons, it blew up. And then I was left with a kick, show. And I was like, well, I don't want to outsource 9 different things. Like, you know what I mean?
All joking aside, that's exactly the life that you are just telling it like it is.
I just don't want to do that. I don't want. I gotta get up. I need a social media manager. I need a content. Obviously taking my content and pushing that out.
Community.
Community. Like, oh my gosh! Like I was like thinking of this. Maybe I obviously lost my hair. I think, but like thinking of this makes my hair go on fire. Like I was like, what? I was like, I gotta outsource this, and then I looked at my show. And then I looked at these podcasting agencies, you call them, or whatever, these editors. I was like, I got more reach than you have. Like, how I should be paying, like I'm confused.
Right.
And you're charging me, I have to do $2,000 a month just for you to do copy of my show. Shit, I can write copy myself. Like, see my point? So it's, you're left. And then, so what that ends up happening is that you're left there going, I don't want to do this all my own. And I'm not going to do it. And then guess what just happened? You just gave up on yourself.
Right.
And now the world can't hear your message.
Right.
Someone in the future could have heard what you had to say and you could have changed their life.
Right. That's so true. And I want to ask you and Greg one question. So I have had a few people approach me and ask me if they didn't have their podcast up and running yet, is it even something that they should even bother considering? So I wanted to ask you both that. Like, if someone has not launched a show yet, has an idea about what they would like to do, but just hasn't even launched it yet, is that something that they should wait until they have an idea processed already and done, or how do you work that out?
That's a great question. Greg, would you like to start?
Yeah, and it's funny because I was going to say something.
I like this question though.
Yeah, it's a great question, right? And it's, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, or we look at ourselves on screen, or we listen to ourselves through our outer ear, right? We hear something that's so different than what other people hear, right? And so I sound goofy to myself, right? When I listen to myself, and people have very critical opinions of what good looks like for themselves. And I think often we are our worst critic. And so getting to the answer is, listen, no matter how good or bad you think you sound, no matter how flushed out your concept is, press the button and hit submit, right? And apply, right? Because, I'll go to Lee Starks, right? Coach Lee, mind, body, resilience, amazing boxing coach, personal and amazing friend of mine, for clarity. He's a great ultra marathoner, and uses that technique to train boxers, similar to Mark, right? These gentlemen are great at what they do for their daytime job. And for them to put together the concept of what they want to achieve in a podcast or a live stream, or, building up their community, they both didn't have a fully flushed concept or idea. Right. Before they met Chris, right? And before the introductions and the conversations happened. And, you look at the success Mark is starting to have, and Lee's just getting off the ground now, as well as others, right? And I'm just picking those two out because I know them personally and what they were doing. So to answer the question, absolutely, right? No matter how fully flushed out the concept is, no matter how many episodes or shows you have under your belt, I think that's really one of the things that Chris and the team do really well is take people, guide them through the process, and come out with a product that's truly valuable to the community and people listening out there. And it would be a shame for anyone to say, I don't think I'm good enough, or I don't think my idea is fully flushed out enough. Because, Chris showed me a video, right? Everybody has a story, right? And the world's just waiting to hear that. So, what Chris has created is the opportunity for people to tell their story to the world.
I love that.
And that's basically it, right? Chris, anything you want to
No,
answer?
yeah, I love this. And I mean, I love this question, and thank you for going that. And I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have got it to this point without Greg helping me flush out this idea. I mean, when you get too close to this, right? There's a lot of moving parts. I was yelling checkmate 6 months ago. And
yeah.
I was like, listen, you guys don't understand the moves that I'm making on the back end. Like, my next move is going to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? Because they should take it, you know what I mean? Take it very disrespectfully, because I'm going to broadcast people in a way and elevate them. When you elevate others, you elevate yourself.
Yeah.
Do you see my point?
Yeah.
And the level of impact with this bad boy is just undeniable. The next move, I'm going to be going after, obviously, the major corporations out there and businesses and doing the same things. We're going to have workshops in every city in America, because this is what I do. Right. This is what I've done my whole life. Like, my whole career, I've put people in a position to win. That's my job. That's why it's called WINJECT.
Right.
We're injecting you with winning. This
Right.
is what winning feels like.
Right.
Don't you? I mean, some days we'll take some L, but that's a pause. I mean, you hear me say this a lot. So when I'm going after, we have different sides of this. If we have children's shows we're looking at. We have other networks. We got Be Your Own. They're having their network of female-centric brand of shifting over to the male side, right? Obviously, with the community, we'll equip them and allow them to really expand and grow within, and not have to feel like they have to run ads of join my community. No. Like, what in your life can you feel like you should improve or could improve on? And with the right help, what else is going to stop you? Nothing. Don't worry, sell me on that. Because that's the angle of the approach is like, listen, I want to get the world in a position where they can understand that you can do anything you really want to do in life if it aligns with your true purpose and your source.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here to do. And someone awoken, I guess you would say, or someone enlightened, or someone that has accomplished these things in business, whatever that might be, there might be my level of expertise. Greg's, that's why there's all three of us that sign off. Russ's, he might be something that they'll bring up, and I won't even see the opportunities. I'm too dialed in on something, and then we expand, because what you focus on expands. And if I'm focusing and putting that much time and energy into you, then I need to make sure it's recyclable. Right. Do you see my point?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to touch on something really quick because Greg had mentioned people in the fitness space, right? And you pointed out Samantha Durant and what she's doing. So what I wanted to touch on, like, just really quickly, is the shows that you're looking for, right? Like the shows that are going to be coming onto WINJECT. Do you have like a specific idea of what you want, or is it like broad? It's like a lot of different types of, shows and energy coming on?
Well, that's a great question, and I appreciate that question. And what I'm looking for more in a show is not really just a show; it's just an individual that feels that they could do more or receive more in their life. I mean, you look at the people that have came aboard, the great Jess Lee. Shout out to Steve Virginia and the manager. Obviously, Jess Lee, beautiful. She's got amazing stuff happening. When I brought the opportunity to her, it's like, hey, I'm going to launch a show for you. I'm just my idea and that level of impact, and it just grew from there. Now she's able to reach her fans in a whole different way. Do you? So, and then you're looking at all other shows that we've done, a brain health show. It's a very difficult show to be able to broadcast to the world because you're dealing with a lot of traumatic experiences. So if you're looking at more of a health and wellness space, you're looking at basically, if you look at every show, you're looking at the journey of what I've been through in my personal life, and I've actually helped myself grow through it. So I care about Dr. Ruth's show more than potentially than a lot of other people in these agencies because I'm emotionally connected to her story.
Right.
You know, so like, and that's what we're doing. And this is how we separate ourselves from everybody else out there that is just has another show that they chop up.
Yeah.
Say, oh yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
Like
I love it.
Right. You're a part. I'm just as much as part of I'm like sign on as an executive producer for every original show. That means I'm going to look at the episodes. That's all I do all day long is consume shows.
Right.
I don't do anything else. I consume shows all day long in different.
That's why you need Greg. That's why you need Greg.
100%. And because not everyone's going to understand my crazy, or I can communicate it that way.
Right.
And it's not, you know, it's the level of impact with this. And then obviously onboarding the shows. I mean, there's a lot of people that want us to take on. We're going to have to end up having a waiting list. We can only do so many a day.
Right.
So,
I'm excited. I'm
excited for it as well. I mean, Greg, I hope that that's a long-winded type of answer, but you know me.
No, no, I think it's a great answer. You know, I think to be more specific, I don't think there is a roadmap that says we need 2 of these and 3 of those in order to fill up the space, right? I think when you look across the people that are recording shows right now, as Chris said, a lot of them are people or topics, right, that he's had to bring through his journey, and where he's come from and where he's going. But the opportunity is, you know, there's right now gaps as far as children's, right? So, you know, is there an opportunity if you have a show could be children's health, it could be children's fitness, right? Any of those types of things. Absolutely. We talked about, I know Chris and I joke about this, right? There's a whole lot of content creators in, you know, the intimacy space, right? And, you know, you see people out there that are talking about sexual health and you know, relationships and those types of topics, right? That's an area that we hasn't touched on yet. So to be honest with you, no, there is no roadmap of what's next. There's no checklist that we need, again, 2 of these or 3 of those. I think if the story is good, the content is great, and the person's, you know, wholesomeness, for lack of a better word, right, as far as what their story's about and the reason why they're trying to give it to the planet, I think that's what's going to drive the decisioning, right? And nothing more than that.
That's awesome. I asked that intentionally because I am a part of WINJECT, and so I'm on there. I try to go on there once or twice a day to check everything out. And I love the broad spectrum of different people that are on there, different podcasters, different communities. And I get to, you know, follow all of these people and have conversations with all of them and all of that. So it's been fantastic. I mean, from entrepreneurship to health and wellness to brain health to trauma to, you know, straight talk, like all of these different humans that you have on there. So it's been a fantastic journey. And I want to thank you, Chris, for having me on board. I mean, I've been here since the beginning, and I've never left because I love you. I love the idea. I love the concept. I love all of it. So thank you guys so much.
I appreciate it. I'm going to say one thing just to Greg. Obviously, just aside, I want to clean this up. There's a buzzword that we keep saying is podcasting right now. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm crystal clear with this. Perfect example. We had the great Julie Chan on board. Julie Chan, I watched her on your show when I was watching. It's what I'll do, watching shows. Watched her on your show. Like, that's a ball of energy that I obviously in a line to. Had a meeting with her website, or she's doing too much. Right. So podcasting is just a byproduct of a show. She's a live stream. She'll, you know, so she needs a TV show, but we need to clean that approach up and build the community, empower her with stuff for that way she can able to grow, because she's doing it all by herself.
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was going to ask you if it's just podcasters or if there's content creators. Like I know a few people that have very large followings on their YouTube channels, but they're not podcasters, right? And I was wondering if they also should apply to get WINJECT.
100%. Yeah, it's a whole approach of how can your message be broadcasted through our obviously media to get you to right eyeballs on you or earbuds or whatever that might be. It could be live streaming. It doesn't matter to me. You got music. Right. If you're a music producer, obviously, 94 Genius. If what I'm going to do, obviously, for those types of individuals, if they're a freelance person or a producer, they like to do. You can blow people up on TikTok. People have been I guess got massive deals, music deals. Well, you have to get a team. So here's the process with this. You have to get a manager. This is all money that you're spending. Right. Which leverage us to be the business model that can help you. We're the resource.
Love that.
So what I am here to do now, when you sign on and we sign on and we accept you on as a WINJECT show, it's like we give them a chain. Remember we give them a chain when you sign on? When they sign on, we sign you on. And obviously now you have everyone here as a resource to help you. Okay. Now it's more powerful. Beautiful. Yeah. So when you have access to all the resources that I have access to, the exclusive offers inside of WINJECT that, website people, the people that built our website, you have Repurpose IO. We have so many different types. We have in-house funding available for those who qualify for the U.S. obviously clients. Mm-hmm. We have everything that you would potentially need to equip you and empower you with the right type of understanding that I can really be the next success story. I can really, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of determination. Yeah. And you have to have the right resources. And that's what we're here to do, is providing those resources for you to really allow you to win. That's why we call it WINJECT.
We have some great comments. I don't know if you want to pull them up, but I'm glad.
I don't see anything.
Let me show. Look at that. Kelly Cardenas. I love you, dude. He's saying, Neena, you're awesome. We have Michael on here.
Big time.
Thanks for the insight. Exciting opportunities ahead for the WINJECT community. Yes. That's right, Michael. And then we have Dominique saying hello. Hey, Dom. But you know what? This has been amazing. So before I let you and Greg go, what I really would like is for you to tell our audience how they can apply. Where do we go? How do we apply?
Very simple. Very simple approach. Just go to winject.com. Or if you have a show or whatever, make sure you check their show page if you have somebody on there. But it's one cool thing about this. We try to remove that barrier of entry. So we want to know where you came from as well. You'll go to winject.com. It says apply now. Push that button and it takes you to a form. It says WINJECT my show. That means if you have a show idea, and that way you can share a little bit more insight, and it has a place on that form where you came from. Like, I was also listening to Neena, and I love Neena. I'm part of her, whatever. Then bam, that way we're able to make that connection with, obviously your show. Now it comes into the decision-making process of signing on a show. The next step after that, you fill out the information. It takes you a little bit 5 to 7 minutes to fill out this information, but be sure to share as much information with us. So that way it equips us, because all three of us look at it. Then from there, 1 to 3 business days, you will get an email from one of our staff members, executive staff with somebody to get you booked in for a call and a consultation or audit, or take a look at whatever you want to look at, whatever you want to call it. Then from there, we'll go into the conversation. It could be all three of us. We at least will have a conversation with you about what we see in our recommendation. And from that recommendation, it's up to you to do whichever you want to do from there. So it doesn't really
so good.
Right. Yeah. So then from there, if you say, for instance, if it's a financial issue, right? I mean, we have in-house funding for those who don't, those who qualify. I mean, I'm just providing you resources. That's all it is. And if we decide to do it together, that's what the whole point is. Togetherness. I can't make you want something you don't want. You know what I mean? So we have to do it collectively. It needs to be a mutual agreement. Like, yes, I want to do this. Yes, Chris, I agree. Right. Like, I had people that are obviously looking at the business model. They're like, what do you mean it's only $44 a month?
Right.
I'm paying $1,900 to run my show. I know.
Yeah. Let's not go there, Chris. You have to sting people, you know.
I'm like, because now you're looking at all these resources and you're freaking out. So it's truth. I mean, some shows, it might take, I don't know, a grand or $1,500 or three. It doesn't really matter. We'll custom make the offer for you. Yeah. A setup fee, whatever you need. Yeah.
So give me the website again.
WINJECT.com. It's been WINJECT. WINJECT.
It'll be on there.
It's literally, if you go to your page, show pages.
Yeah.
You have important to mention on this, when you do fill out the application and you're waiting for those 3 days, you do have 3 days if you want to come inside the community and see what's obviously there. If you're a content creator, then you would definitely want to make sure that you do the podcaster one. Or obviously some of the copy is changing over to creator. You get inside there and see see if you like it inside. I'm like, holy crap, it is amazing in here. I'm like, yeah, no,
it is. It's really amazing. So Kelly, to answer your question, Kelly put WINJECT. How do we get started? How do you get started? That's how you do. So go on to WINJECT.com and you can apply on there. You get 3 days to go ahead and look at everything going on behind the scenes back there. And it's really, there's a lot to look at. It's really impactful. There's a lot of good things. And so as you start to grow your community in there and put your stuff in there and all of your information and courses and all that, you'd be amazed at how wonderful this transition is. Not even a transition, enhancement, I should say, an enhancement to what you are already doing. So I want to thank you both so much because you answered a lot of the questions that I've been getting from a lot of people. And so I can't think of any other questions because you already told them how to get on there. You told them even if they're just a content creator, not really with a podcast, but want to do live streaming or anything like that, they are also able to apply. People that have these concepts and ideas of getting their voice out in the world, you guys can help them formulate that. So build the community. I mean, so on and so forth. Like I've told you guys who are listening, you guys know that I started over 2 years ago and I was getting very low engagement because I didn't know really what to do, spending a lot of money. That's why I said, ouch, Chris, don't be hurting nobody, but when I got onto WINJECT, as you guys started to work with me and work with what it looks like and work with my idea concept and work with streamlining myself, it really has grown over 300%. And that's not a joke. Like you could take my numbers and you can calculate that yourself. And that to me is a beautiful thing because now I'm reaching more voices and I'm on here every Monday. So you guys cannot miss it. It's every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on WINJECT TV. And this is another thing where I'm getting so much more engagement now. All these DMs like, when are you on again? When are you on again? Oh my gosh, that was so good, blah, blah, blah. So it is working. It is growing. It is fantastic. So before I let all of you guys go, is there anything last that I missed? Chris or Greg, anything that I missed before we let you go?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good to go. I think this has been fun. It's been great. And I hope this, helps the audience and people understand, what WINJECT's all about. And, the level of impact. It's, the main thing is just removing that friction at the beginning. That's where, there's a lot of the beta phase is over with. I have enough data to make the proper adjustments within the system. We were all just doing one massive community. We're not going to do it this way. We're going to accept the right shows. And from that community, if you're a show and then you can bring them into your own community and help you flourish and grow. And it's just so much fun, man. I feel like in my life right now, I'm so dialed into my main source and the nucleus of myself that I'm doing what God put me on this planet to do.
That's awesome.
and I love it. And I wouldn't be able to do it without you, Neena, and Greg, or everybody collectively. And everyone's a shared legacy of every person they've ever met. Right. But I know that I won't quit on myself. And I know I won't allow you to quit if you're with me on this journey. I got you. I got your back. We're here as resources.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do. So, but anybody can, and I appreciate Greg obviously jumping on and moving his day around for us. I appreciate that. So,
thank you, Greg. Thank you for being here.
Hey, no problem. Next time you can see my scary face on camera.
I was gonna say handsome face, but
yeah, he's better looking at me.
I'm happy that you guys were able to spend this time with me because I know that So many of you have been asking me questions about WINJECT. You're seeing my engagements fly high. You're seeing all of my episodes coming out. You're seeing all the streamlining and all of that stuff. And this is how it's happening. It's happening through WINJECT. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to be here next Monday. We are going to talk about, an entrepreneur's meaningful goals. That's where we're going to go. We're going back to our goals, guys, because I'm getting a lot of questions about that as well. Thank you guys for being here. Neena Perez, Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time.
This broadcast is brought to you by WINJECT Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.